And we are back, coming here with a ZvP for you to all enjoy. Are still sort of sticking up in this upper bracket, but it is gonna be a little bit of a player that we don't get to cast a lot of, that being Saiko slash Saiko, a Singaporean player, one of the newer up-and-coming players in this sort of in this little island nation. Has already set himself apart from the old guard of, you know, Lobo, Whisk, and whatnot.
Come in, I'm here.
Hey, welcome back, Quirky. We are about to be coming in.
There we go. Now, Saiko, we haven't casted much of him. We did cast one game of him against ANZ yesterday. But it was like, we don't know too much about him. But he did make a deep run in the lower bracket yesterday. So I'm expecting good things from him. Going up against Vivid, though, is going to be a bit iffy. Because Vivid does tend to play the more macro standard styles, you know. And Nick said he did pull out the Swarm Host-nitis plays yesterday.
I do know, yeah. Tend to have been, after how many GPOs? Yeah, I think I got a bit of a handle on Vivid. But speaking of which, we are now coming into the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have our red Protoss coming down all the way from the land of Singapore. I wonder if he can hear me right now, just outside of his window or something. I don't know where he lives. We have currently teamless. It is gonna be the madman himself. It is Saiko. Yep, good.
And spawning in the top left, the Blue Zerg from Australia. Give it up. It is Vivid.
Now, we've spoken quite a bit about Vivid here. We are very familiar with him, but Saiko is definitely quite a bit of an unknown player. I believe he's actually younger than I am, for one. So that already makes it weird.
Wow, so he's like, what, 12?
You know, like 3. Something like that. But, yeah, he's also not really somebody who plays in a lot of online events, unless it's a big qualifier like we see here today. Then again, I guess that's what most of the Singapore players are like. But I will say this though, Nemesis does consider Saiko, or has told me, that Saiko is the player to look out for in these upcoming years of Singapore StarCraft 2. So every time we're available to watch him play, I've always try to watch him.
It's like figure out how to beat him for WSG and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't gotta worry about Whisk. I don't gotta worry about Revenant. I don't gotta worry about Lobo.
Now, Defo is one of these unique maps. Has got the acceleration zones, but also doesn't have a spot for the Overlord to be undetected in that natural. So, opening up with this Stalker is definitely, you know, one of these openings that you can do on this map.
Yeah, you'd be kind of crazy not to.
Ooh, I do like this though. The Stargate play coming in from Saiko. From Saiko, sorry.
Yeah, and keeping that hidden quite a bit as well. Well, not too hidden, as that is along an Overlord path. Is this wall a wall? It is. I got definitely worried there for a sec. Whew.
But now it's up to Vivid whether he can go scout this Stargate play coming in from Saiko. He is getting that Overlord into the position to try and scout that main. No pneumatized Carapace And that's something I do see a lot of these Zergs going for, is that early Overlord speed. Try and get that extra scouting off, but nice scout there from Vivid, does see the Stargate, so he knows exactly what's happening. It's going to start chucking down spores in that mineral line.
Yeah, starting with the most vulnerable and moving on forward. This, just having that spore in the main just means you have an extra queen, right? To go around and start spreading creep. Or, I mean, I guess would be if...
You can, but it is better if you do get spores in both your mineral lines. Plus one queen adds better defense. Saiko does scout that third with the Oracle. Sees no drone, so he can't go and waste his energy on it. But the queens are in position. We'll chase the Oracle away. And now Lair and Roach on the way here for Vivid.
Which is, you know, about a standard response to this. Generally speaking, when the Protoss player does decide to go for a Stargate unit, or a Stargate opening, I should say, depending on how dedicated they are, they do tend to sort of ignore the ground army or neglect the ground army quite a bit, which is something that we don't see it all the time, but some Zerg players do love taking advantage of that by going for an earlier Roach Roarin and just trying to go in with a huge Roach Ravager bust.
Yeah, but I'll say there has been this mass Phoenix style that's come back into fruition now, especially on bigger maps like Eternal Empire, Ice and Chrome as well. We have seen it into effect. Pairs and Probe, I know, have gone for those playstyles, especially against NXZ, and I've only seen NXZ successfully held that type of playstyle once without letting it snowball by getting that Corruptors. But ooh, nice pickup of that Queen at the third, even going for the Lava. Oh my god.
Great pickups coming out left and right for Saiko. So much less to worry about as this game goes on. When you get that that little bit of larva. The Immortals are starting to come out. Saiko is priming himself for just about as good of an anti-roach army as he can get. Do you see the Forge now researching +1? Twilight Council being thrown down. And do you hear what I'm hearing, Quirky? I hear the steam whistle blowing. I see Commander parting, or not Commander, what's the name of a,
Conductor.
Conductor, that's the word.
Conductor parting the Soul Train.
I hear him yelling into the cheap mic. Cheap!
And I do like this, you know, getting rid of those, creep tumors as well, using that Oracle energy. No, he's not really getting too much with these Oracles in terms of economic damage, but he can stop that spread of that creep and from potentially snowballing.
ZvP is a lot about momentum, and one way for the Protoss player to prevent the Zerg player from getting too much of that is by lowering the creep tumors.
Yeah, but a quick infestation pit, and maybe if we do see something else as well, I feel like we might be seeing that Swarm Host Nidus player gonna be coming in.
Now, refresh my memory, Quirky. Saiko did well against the Swarm Host Nidus, or he didn't do well?
He didn't do well against it. But it was on Ice and Chrome, one of the bigger maps where it is harder to find those, you know, those Nidus worms. Yeah.
Hello said those pop-ups.
Those damn Nidus pop-ups. Always ruining my macro game.
Yeah, I don't care about the hot single Zerglings in my area. It's like, we bring them to you. You don't understand.
Yeah. They delivered right outside your natural. But the +1... Okay, he's going for Infestors instead. Pathogens again, getting researched. Hive on the way as well.
Huh. But this is not something that we see a lot of. No. Not even considering the fact that it is Vivid, who is generally more of a lair player.
Ooh, I do like this, though. Drobalords on the way, especially with that Baneling nest as well. Might see some Bane drops on the way here. As finally the one Oracle does go. Infestor drops.
Neuroparasite. Commit to it, Vivid. You know you want to.
Neural Parasite, the probes, get your own Protoss army going. Let's go.
Yes. What's the best counter to a Protoss army? Another Protoss army.
That centrifugal hook's on the way as well as that +2 range. Spy as well.
Vivid really is embodying all of the Southeast Asian Zerg players right now, isn't he? Like, all of them got a little bit of Demi in there, throwing in some Mio-Micah. Of course, Vivid is sort of the original Dropper Lord. Well, I say that, but I think Mio-Micah was the original Dropper Lord player. But the way Vivid does it is a lot different than how Mio-Micah used to do it.
I do like this, the cancelling of the forfeit with a couple of charge lots.
Oh my god! The Storms, Quirky! They do not deter the Dropper Lord, so there's just not enough anti-air, or I guess not enough quick anti-air that Saiko can really use to prevent these Dropper Lords from coming in. Here comes a single Phoenix, but how long is it going to take out these Dropper Lords, Quirky?
It may not be enough. I think he should get the cancel of that fourth here. But he's chasing after the wrong Overlord. If it's a play, but oh, look at this. Stalker's onto the high ground as well, but that fourth does get cancelled. Actually, or did it get killed? Let me check. No, it got cancelled. So Saiko on top of that, at least. But this is a scary army coming from our red Protoss. It's going to cancel that. It's going to get rid of that fourth as well. And, you know, keeping Vivid on this free base economy right now, being really good, and even getting... Oh, that's some nice storms there.
Takes out basically all of the Banelings there. If Saiko so wanted, he does have an opportunity now to push all the way in. This army is very distracted from Vivid.
Yeah. Nice multi-pronged attacks coming, and a fleet beacon as well on the way here for Saiko. So this is the more standard meta approach now, going into that Golden Armada, getting carriers. And this is just turning into a very, very late game, macro-oriented style that we're seeing from both these players.
Yeah, the momentum is definitely on Saiko's side right now, as he's just been doing such a good job of preventing Saiko from Saiko is doing a good job of allowing Vivid to get a leg up, but never overextending himself too much ever throughout this game. He just goes in, gets a kill or cancel, jumps right out. That is how it's done.
Yep. And Saiko, he's doing really well with this multi-pronged harass coming in with these charge lots. You know, pulling the army this way or that. Even getting the War Prism into the main as well. Might even get the Spire.
At the very least, should be able to get the Spire. Might be able to get the Infestation Pit. On top of that, a lot of Transfuses are starting to be thrown down, but it's not enough here. These Zerglings will fall, but the War Prism is still alive.
There's a Dank Shrine on the field, and a push going in.
Look at these storms, Quirky! In addition to these force fields, just about every single unit of Vivid has been taking damage there, and Saiko is well happy. I can see the grin on his face in my mind. I can't actually see it in real life, but I can imagine it, Quirky.
Yeah,
his fourth base is now secured. A fifth base on top of that.
He's ahead of bases of Vivid. He's just stuck. Look at the amount of ravages they had to get to try and save these roaches. Now the carriers are on the way. There's not really that much anti yet. There's no Spire. Swarm host on the way. And I feel like Vivid, he has to do something right now. He has to try and go cancel those new bases. Has got the Mutalisk as well to try and go for some harass. But I feel like the ball is definitely in Saiko's court right now.
It's all in him. He's got his finger on the trigger, but he's not willing to push it just yet. Waiting to be maxed out, waiting to, just get his unstoppable army. Going for that very old school death ball sort of style, but with a much different composition here. Carriers are almost full of interceptors here, Quirky.
There's no toilet flash, but the Mutas do manage to get in. Do pick off about 9 drones. Will even get some more here. No blink on these Stalkers. No cannons in the mineral lines.
Babe, come on. Base straight.
It's not going to be a base straight. Phoenixes are coming out from the side of
Saiko, and they tend to do pretty well, I gotta tell you, against Mutalisk, even unupgraded. This is
some nice
just
piles.
Yeah, this is just about going to be Vivid's last stand, though. These Biles, you know, they did a pretty good job of zoning, but at the end of the day, Saiko just has way too much firepower. It is +3 ground, as well as +1 air, versus 2 melee, even.
Oh, he's going to try and get this around. Oh! Almost manages to get 2 of the carriers with those Biles. I do like that, but the intercepts are just keep on harassing.
It's just such a long range there. In fact, it's not even that long of range, but because of the layout of this map, Saiko is just able to get full advantage of those interceptors every time he goes, every time he's around these ramps. Storms are starting to land. So much damage is being taken.
That's
is
gonna be
not
it.
going to be too good. GG. Saiko takes game number 1.
Yeah. Saiko really impressing there, especially with his multi-pronged harass. Being able to keep Vivid on that that 3 base econ for so long, and even managing him to get down to 2 bases that were fully saturated is really really good of him. And you know, I feel like Vivid has to get that mental state back if he wants to try and get back into the game here.
Yeah, I wonder what Vivid could have done differently that sort of game. I guess not too much, right? But going into game number 2, he will have to adjust his playstyle quite a bit. Saiko is not really. It's not so much. It's not an aggressive player, to say the least. Not really much of a defensive player either. He's just a very macro-oriented player who, you know, likes to keep his opponent as low as possible while he himself is building up to that unstoppable late game army. I guess if Vivid, I suppose if Vivid realizes this, he can try to take advantage of that. You know, try to go for some more early game aggression, but I don't know, it is a little up in the air right now as to how Vivid decides to play this out.
Yeah, well, we are going to be going on to Ice and Chrome for our second map, and is one of these bigger, more macro-oriented maps. There's huge rush distance through the middle, and we do tend to see longer games here. I know I had like a 40-minute TVZ here last night, yeah. Eventually I was like, you know what, I'm behind. I think it was like just medium behind, like I still come back, but I was like, you know what, I'm just tired. Just gonna GG out. But yeah, no, I really would like to see if Saiko can keep up this momentum. Even having the Zest portrait.
Yeah, he is kind of playing like Zest, or at least how Zest used to play back in sort of 2014 to 2016 sort of era. Very macro-oriented Stargate player, even towards the end. But speaking of being macro-oriented, we are now going to be here on Ice and Chrome LE, the new OS coming down as a merger between Frozen and Google. No, wait, Google and Disney, question mark. I'll come up with something eventually. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we do in fact have our red Protoss come down all the way from the island of Singapore. He is currently teamless, so any team owners might want to keep your eyes on this fella right here. We have Saiko. Jescase.
And spawning in the top right, we have the Blue Zerg, representing Australia, and currently also as well teamless is the man of many talents, I should say. He is Vivid.
Still choosing to rep OSC Elite, even though it hasn't existed for years, it feels like.
Oh, but I do like this, trying to fake out the cannon rush here, but I feel like Vivid, yeah, he's just going to pull the amount of drones he needs to get rid of that.
Minimum.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Vivid's like, oh, okay.
That is how you would. That is what he exactly said when he saw that pylon. He was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
In that exact inflection.
Yeah, while wearing the ducky hoodie.
Yep, probably give him that a little squeeze, just to let the ear pop up.
The wings, but the natural is done. Nexus and Cybercore on the way here for Saiko. So, yeah, we're just going to be going into that pretty standard PvZ opening. Now, whether Saiko wants to go for that early, that Stargate opening again, or whether he wants to go Depth Printer, he's changed it up here.
Twilight Council. And if we learned anything from Quantel Quirky, this is going to work out much, much better for the side of the Protoss player.
Oh, depends if Vivid knows how to defend very well against it. Which I have a feeling he should, but at this moment, he is just macroing up as best as he can, getting that third, getting the wing speed as well. So,
seeking these links around as well. There's not quite a wall yet for Saiko. And this element of surprise is absolutely key right now for Vivid. He is starting to move in. There's only one pylon here. This Stalker looking to kite as best that it can. But how long can it realistically kite this? A couple of probes here being pulled to try to deal with these Zerglings. But it's not quite going to be enough. We'll lose 3 of them.
Yeah, but he's getting a decent amount of probes as well. But nice micro from Saiko to stop it being from even more. Gonna cancel that pylon? No, he's not. So that's gonna be a full wall.
Huh. Well, how many bases do you really need for the Adept Printer?
2.
Exactly.
They generally take your third while you're doing that, so... But, oh no, skipping straight to Dark Shrine. So this is something we also see with PvZ lately. Yeah, with Protoss players. They have been, skipping that the glaives and going straight to that Dark Shrine. So there's either 3 variations of this build. There's the straight Adept Printer, there's the Depth Printer into Dark Shrine, or there's just skipping glaives and going straight to Dark Shrine. And with this, I don't think Vivid, he's starting to get safety spores into his mineral lands there, but just really good. That's something we haven't really seen, like, with the Zergs that we've been casting over the last few days. They haven't been getting those safety spores when they haven't seen, they haven't scaled that main. So I do like this adaptation from Vivid. He has got the roaches in the way, but he's getting a crap ton of lings.
He is, and that is going to be the key right now for dealing with these DTs. DTs do a lot of damage, but they are a little bit
that's
squishy.
the spore in the main.
There is a spore in the main, Quirky. And this is just really safe right now. I mean, a DT opening is generally pretty safe in the PvZ. You're usually not looking to get damage with those Dark Templar. But now there is a lot of opportunity here. Already one of them going down. And Vivid, or Saiko I should say, is just staying in this main base. Wants to see what he can get away with. One of these DTs will get surrounded and taken out of commission here. But there is another to replace it. And again, no vision here. This is a lair, Quirky. And how much longer does this lair have to live? I don't think it's going to be enough. The Spore Crawler is starting to go down. It does take a little bit of time to burrow. The transfuse is huge, but the kill is still there. What an absolute pick-off here for Saiko.
Yeah, it even managed to save the DTs and that Warp Prism as well. And look, Vivid tried to go for the counterattack, but there is a... Okay, will manage to get in, but the DTs are back at home.
There's just way too much DPS here.
Yeah. Now Saiko going for his third base.
Just looking to, just securing that down. We'll have to see if Saiko decides to harass. He is going to go harass with his Archons. So, yeah, he is leaving himself a little bit vulnerable by doing this. We already sort of see Vivid sort of dancing links back and forth, trying to see if he can get an opening. But, in the end, Vivid is kept home not willing to take that risk of these Archons taking him out of the game immediately. You know, DTs are great, Quirky. They're especially great if your opponent doesn't have detection. But Archons have range. And you know what else has range? Warp prisms.
Yeah.
Pick them up and throw them down. And
it's not going to be more Archons, no? Okay, yep, that's a fair Archon. Okay, he's pushing with this, going for a bit of an Archon Soul Train here. With these Immortals.
Soul Train. Saiko actually kind of faking out that third base. Vivid is expecting to cancel base here, but instead he sees nothing. And now this is the time. Saiko is going all in with his entire army. It is a very potent army. We already see these roaches getting popped off left and right. These zealots gonna do a fantastic job in this middle line. Ooh. And Vivid is forced to pull back. These force fields blocking just about everything from going down. Vivid, he's on even army supply, but this is very deceptive. These roaches hatch right on top of the army and they are taken out. And it's very hard to see Vivid making a comeback from here, Quirky.
Yep, here comes the split. The Warp Prism is there to micro. Files trying to land onto the army, but I don't think it's enough. Vivid, I think, is going to be sent to the lower bracket here. Force Field's actually helping Vivid here. They is a put off creep.
Oh,
Files landing down. The army getting split up.
Yeah, this is not ideal right now for Saiko. The Archons are starting to get really low, and once the Archons are down, these Lings are going to have free reign, but Saiko is keeping them alive. He is keeping very vigilant watch on top of them, making sure that they're not really out of position. Vivid's continuing to kite, but it's not getting too much done. Forced to pull the boys here, and this looks to be it.
I think it is. Saiko getting the upset here. Taking down Vivid 2. GG is called, and Saiko will be going through to the next round.
Majula! I said that wrong. I didn't say it how it was supposed to be pronounced. I was just trying to be cool, you know? But, yeah, very... I mean, you said it's a bit of an upset, and... At first I was thinking, no, that can't be right. You know, Vivid and Saiko, I would imagine them being a little bit more evenly matched. But now, the more that I think about it, the more that it is kind of a bit of an upset. Vivid, I think, isn't really someone... When it comes to the Australian players, Vivid isn't usually someone who you think of as, you know, being up there. But that's mostly just because he's overshadowed, right? By the likes of Probe and by the likes of Pez and whatnot. This is definitely a start for Saiko. That's what I have to say.
Well, we'll see whether he can keep that momentum going as we take a quick look at the rest of the bracket. So we do have Azure versus EBG going on at the moment. Bryce versus Thucklell. Quantel winning 2-1 over Phoenix A. We'll go on to face the winner of Akon CC's and Oreo. And then, of course, we have NXZ versus Ranger going on at the moment. What?
He did it, Quirky. Ranger beat out Nux, his nemesis, the player who 4-0'd him in online events last week. Ranger finally getting a bit of an upper hand there. And, you know, I'm supporting my Singapore boy, Saiko. I'm also supporting my Malaysia boy, Ranger.
Yeah. But currently we are just waiting for a series to open up here.
Yeah.